Hi, I'm Michelle Begue with a look at what's happening in Latin America now. But first, our news trivia. This week, the Organization of the American States is holding its annual General Assembly meeting. Which Latin American country's capital will be the host city? We'll have the answer later. Brazil held its presidential elections this weekend, and it's going to a runoff vote. Left-wing former President Lula da Silva got a little over 48% of the weekend's votes. Far-right incumbent Jair Bolsonaro reached 43%, but 50% is needed to win. The results were much closer than originally expected. The second round of voting is set to take place October 30th. Now the challenge for these two polar opposite candidates will be to win over those voters who cast their ballots for the other 9 candidates who were eliminated from the race. Lula has promised to bolster measures to help protect the Amazon rainforest. He seems to be the preferred candidate for climate activists. Bolsonaro is supported by many in the agricultural sector, as he believes parts of the Amazon should be accessible for economic exploitation. But what are voters most concerned about? Right now, it's rising food prices, which have increased hunger and poverty. Haitian officials said Sunday that 7 people have died from cholera, an infection that comes from drinking contaminated water. Fears of a larger outbreak are high. Haiti suffered a huge cholera epidemic 10 years ago. More than 10,000 people died. The country is still in a state of chaos since the assassination of President Jovenel Moïse in July of 2021. Widespread gang control has created blockades that make it difficult for citizens to access fuel, medical care, and drinking water. Ecuador suffered another deadly prison riot on Monday. Officials report at least 15 inmates are dead and another 21 injured at the prison in La Tacunga. The government attributes those riots to a gang-related violence as drug cartels battle for control of territory and trade routes in Ecuador. Last year alone, 316 inmates died in prison riots across the country. And now my colleague Dan Collyns with a report from Peru. Human remains have been found in Lima that could be more than 500 years old.
Michelle, workers in the Peruvian capital were digging up a street to lay a gas pipeline when they made a remarkable discovery. They found an ancient cemetery dating back to pre-Columbian cultures in the outlying Caraballo neighborhood of Lima. Archaeologists have so far uncovered 11 bodies, among them children and adults, and alongside them many ceramics, textiles and local plants. The find belongs to the Chancay and Waura indigenous cultures, some 600 to 800 years old respectively. Archaeologists work directly with the gas company as this is not the first such find.
Estas personas fueron enterradas con ofrendas muy interesantes, algunas con figurinas de barro, de cerámica, que están representando posiblemente una deidad femenina que acompañaba a estas personas en su trance por la muerte.
Archaeological discoveries are common in Peru, and that includes the coastal capital Lima. Peru's Culture Ministry estimates there are some 100,000 sites across the country, which has long been a center for civilization.
Now let's check out the stories we're following for next week. In El Salvador, a publicly declared war against criminal groups continues. President Nayib Bukele said last March that he is cracking down on gangs. This came after homicide rates hit a record high for the country. Authorities estimate that more than 70,000 people in El Salvador are members of gangs. They include the Mara Salvatruchas gang and its rival Barrio 18, in addition to other smaller street gangs. Over 50,000 arrests have been made by security forces since March. While Bukele says this is helping lower the murder rate, some organizations fear the arbitrary arrests. And they question whether locking up citizens will ultimately solve the problem. We'll continue to follow the story. And now the answer to our news trivia. The answer is B. Lima, Peru will be the host of the 52nd General Assembly of the Organization of American States. 24 member states of the Americas and the Caribbean have confirmed the attendance of their foreign ministers. This year's theme is Together Against Inequality and Discrimination. That's it for this week. We'll see you again soon on Latin America Now.